It took a pandemic for the world to finally wake up to the threat from China. And I've been saying this for more than a year now. Earlier today, I spoke to a very special guest, the Prime Minister of Slovenia, Janez Jansa. He told me that for Europe, China has become a bigger challenger than Russia. And he admits that Europe has not done enough to contain the growing threat from China. Why? Prime Minister Jansa believes Europe has put its economic interests over its values. By the way, Slovenia is also taking over the EU presidency next month. So will they try to change Europe's response to China? And how will they deal with leaders like French President Macron, who says that China is not a threat for Europe just because they don't share a border with China? I asked him these questions and more. Here's an excerpt from the exclusive interview. Prime Minister Jansa, welcome to WION.
Thank you.
There's a major realignment happening in Europe with member states demanding more engagement in the Indo-Pacific. What, according to you, should be the EU strategy in this new power struggle, a new power equation?
I personally would like to speak about the competition, not the power struggle. But in reality, unfortunately, we came to this situation. It's a power struggle. And Indo-Pacific, your country especially, I think is key point in this clash of values, which is becoming global on many levels. But we can see not totally clear, but still visible division between the free countries with parliamentary democracy, with rule of law, and the countries with authoritarian regimes.
Indeed, and we recently saw a strong statement from the G7 about China. It demanded transparency from Beijing on the pandemic. It also called out the Communist Party for human rights violations and Xinjiang and Hong Kong. And some European leaders signed on the statement. But do you believe that Europe as a whole and the European Union has done enough to contain the growing threat from China?
Frankly speaking, no. As many times during the history from the last, especially 2 centuries, we are seeing understatement of the situation. We are seeing behavior where the values are second and economic interests are first. I welcome the conclusions from the G7 and also the communique from the recent NATO summit we held in Brussels, because maybe first time the freedom-loving countries are taking China seriously, are starting to take China seriously.
So then what
in all its dimensions.
Sure. What then do you make of statements like the one that came from French President Emmanuel Macron, who said that we don't share a border with China, so for us China is not a threat?
The world is global today. And China is very present in Europe. It's even strongly present in our neighborhood in Africa, in the Mediterranean basin. We don't have border with China, but what are the borders now? So it's different if China is your bordering country and you have some problems, as you well know. But China is a global power. It's much important challenger than Russia or some other countries. And I think that European Union, United States, India, Japan, Australia, and other countries have to cooperate some approaches toward China together.
The European Union has been accused of basically sitting on the fence. They want to contain China, but they also want to do business with China. As you take over the EU presidency, will this be one of your top agenda points to ensure that there is clarity of policy vis-a-vis Beijing?
Look, I'm not against doing business with China, but I'm against crossing the lines. One of the lines is We are trying to determine now, in Europe we are speaking about the so-called strategic autonomy. We saw last year that almost everything we needed to tame the pandemic in the first wave was produced in China, not in Europe, small amounts in India and some other parts of the world. So now Europe is building capacities.
Do you believe the US under the current leadership is as they say, America is back and is in a position to lead a global effort to make sure that we have a rules-based order?
Well, I think that America is the most important among this democratic bloc of the countries, but the situation we face is not the same as it was during the Cold War. At that time, United States were more or less strong enough to deal with this nuclear threat and other threats coming from this Cold Division. Currently, it's not the same.
What role do you see for India in this changing world order?
A growing role, a crucial role. I said at the beginning that even North Atlantic Alliance, so North America and Europe together, are not enough.
Thank you for joining us and for taking all the questions that came your way.
Thank you very much. I don't have a problem with the questions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Watch the full interview tomorrow, the 19th of June, 9 p.m. IST. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.